On behalf of South Darwin Rugby Union, we'd like to thank all our sponsors for their continued support of our club.
South on 3! 1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome to Rugby Park in Darwin, the final minor round of rugby. Finals next week. A couple of teams that will feature in the finals next week playing today. So they'll be pruning themselves and preening themselves for the finals. We've had the toss-up in the middle, and joining me in commentary, for Dragon Star, Eric Johnson medalist, premiership player, coach, player extraordinaire, Bernard Nicky. Bernard, Dragons against Souths. You're a Dragons man, no bias, but Dragons, they'll just tune up for the finals next week.
Oh, look, it should be a good game. The Dragons have just got to be more consistent across the park for 80 minutes, and yeah, I guess this will be a stepping stone to next week, mate.
South Darwin, top of the ladder, top of the table, and Dragons will finish probably fourth on the ladder. But earlier today we had University Pirates 85 defeated Swamp Dogs, no score. So second and third place on the ladders between University Pirates and Casuarina. It'll be a bonus point because they're equal on points, and it's a matter of points differential. So Pirates didn't do themselves any problems whatsoever. As we see, it'll be South Darwin, and I reckon that's Billy Byrne will take the kick and get the game into play to bang the ball into Dragons territory. The right of screen, it's Billy Byrne, the South Darwin number 10. What'll he do? Will you bang it long, Bernard?
Oh, I think he's going to test out the forward straight away and go short on the 10, mate. Yep, looks like it.
That's why we've got you here as the expert. Well done. So he did go short, but at least it did pass through the 10 metres, and we're in play. South Darwin get the ball out. They have been the pace setters, Bernard, and it'll be a true test, I reckon, for Dragons tonight.
Yeah, I've been keeping tabs on it on Facebook, mate, and yeah, South do looks the goods, but you know it's rugby, mate. Darwin rugby, anything can happen. So.
Darren Colton, number 12. That's the halfback. We'll see a lot of him. Vinny Men, he's the captain of South Darwin. The Frenchman, he is a Frenchman. Now, you've been out of town a little bit working in Central Australia, so you haven't seen as much rugby as you would normally see. But what you have seen, have you liked it?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, Darwin rugby, it very rarely changes, but, you know, when teams like South and Casuarina get an influx of interstate players, it always makes the competition really good, really strong. So, definitely, the standard of the competition does lift, and it's good. It's good for the comp.
Damien Subit, the veteran fullback, and sometimes your position. What position were you like? I mean, fullback. You probably made your name at fullback. You're an Eric Johnston medalist. What year was that? Do you remember?
Oh, geez, I think it was '97. Yeah, we had a good run there, making a few grand finals in a row, and yeah, we had a really complete side from forwards through the back. So. I guess, you know, the forwards did the hard yards and the backs finished it off, and I was fortunate.
So you were the superstar. You just did the fancy tricks on the back of the forwards.
I finished off the work. So, you know, when you've got a good 5'8" like Chris Shirley,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, working inside you makes it a lot easier when you're coming into the line as fullback. So.
Well, next to you, Buff, I reckon that, and I can call you Buff because I've known you long enough, Bernard Nicky. I reckon Chris Shirley was as good as anyone.
Oh, look, you know, I probably am biased, but I'd rate him as probably the best 5'8" next to Craig Leach from Palmerston. You know, those two guys were just a class act. Yep. Yeah. Anyway,
we've counting the clock down. It's not quite working on our screen. No score yet, and we've been about 3 minutes into the game. The line out, and it'll be South Darwin. No, it'll be the Dragons. Well, it's going to be one or the other, isn't it? South Darwin, the Dragons, they'll feed the scrum.
Line out, mate.
The line out, I'm sorry. Vinny Men, a bit early. Away they go. Jesse Norris, well done. Good line out. Mika Drew, threw it back. It was the speculator. Sifa Afu. He's going to be a player. He's a youngster playing at number 9 for the Dragons. Mika Drew, tough nut. Gets it back. Dragons, not quite at halfway. They're still in their own territory. Oh, the knock on. And that's been the case, Bernard. Just had, terrific position, terrific possession, and they've given it up. And it's just not the way to go.
I guess it's good that, when you've got a halfback that can talk, get a good roll on and get his forwards, when they got the ball, get the phases going. So if you looked at that in the last few phases, they were like static. So hopefully that'll, first game, first 5 minutes jitters, so they can settle down and get into a roll. Should be interesting.
He's a youngster though, isn't he, Sifa?
He is. I coached him in juniors, and halfback wasn't really his position. I had him out in the backs, in the centres. So, he's finding his feet there. And Prue Westrup, the coach, is, took a big gamble and put him in halfback. It's a big position, but he's a young fellow, and from when I had him in juniors, I reckon he'd be able to handle the position well.
So but you'd like to see him in 12 or 13?
At the moment, he's probably best suited at halfback because he'll have the bigger bodies around him to look after him when he does get tackled and that. So
Dragons to feed the line out. Unfortunately, Vinnie Men, that one of the co-captains, gets it out to Sweeney Falakakala. He's a lump of a lad. He's going to be a big boy when he grows up. And I think the forwards are well practiced for South, and that's the reason that they're on top of the ladder. And it's the final minor round. Out they go to Ian Akuso, and away they go to the flying player out there, Darren Colton. He's dragged down. Well done to the defence of Dragons. Dragons in defence working hard, and they'll need to on their 22. Got the replay here. No score, and we're 5 minutes into the first half.
They're holding themselves well in defence, Dragons. They're scrambling well and making their first up tackles, which is a good sign.
It just looks to me, though, Bernard, that sooner or later South will get through. Perhaps that's my view on it. Dragons will they crack? They're going to need to be tough back there.
Yeah, look, as you know, I've been involved with the club, over a number of years, and it's always the mentality of the boys, being unpredictable. They always step up and be in finals around the corner. This is a good gauge for them. So I'm sure Prue Westrup would have ran that into them before the game.
Word's always been that Dragons tend to play on speculation rather than on structure. Is that still the case, do you reckon? Or is Peru Westrup indoctrinated some... No, that's good defence.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If they can maintain that sort of intensity, and it's basic rugby when you're playing against the better sides, and if you can execute that, you go a long way to going forward down the field and getting the points on the board.
So is Peru Westrup, is he a structure coach, or is he a coach that allows players to, to strut their stuff? Oh,
look, the structure's always got to be there. You've always got to have that, especially in the first 20 minutes of each half. So, but he always encourages the guys to play the natural game, So it's a bit of both, but if you can get them to work together, it's going to work bonus for the team.
Sifa Afu, the young man to feed the scrum for the Dragons, number 9. Watching closely is Vinnie Men, number 9, and one of the captains for South Darwin. Big Jack Lawrence, number 1, the front of the scrum. For the Rabbits, Afu. So his job's easy at this stage, Bernard. He's just got to chuck it in the middle there and hope the hooker gets hold of it.
That's it. The forward's always testing.
What's he get paid the big money for?
The forwards always testing themselves out at this point of the game anyway, so it's good to see the boys holding their own, holding their scrum, so good signs.
Let Lewis, Greg Smith, Mika Drew putting himself into the game. Now this is where the speculator comes out. I want the phases, Boof, I want phase after phase. What was that for? The referee?
Not releasing the ball. He got tackled. He's gone to ground, holding onto the ball too long. Obviously waiting for support to get there, and they were too slow. So,
the big rabbit with the ball, Ian Akuso. Ayakuso.
Very rare these days to see forwards kick for the line.
Yeah, but he's a multi-talented player. I've watched him a few times, and his size belies his agility. So Jack Lawrence to feed the line out on the Dragons 22. Big George Edwards at the back of the line out for South Darwin, former Dragons club captain.
Oh, that's interesting. Definitely looks different to South jumper.
Yeah, of course. And part of the Edwards contingent, we had Honair Edwards coaching University Pirates, and Honair Edwards Jr. playing at 9 for University Pirates. So there's a bit of an Edwards contingent playing, but not to the extent of the Nickies, of course, and the Mayos, who have ruled the Dragons for so many decades. So 10 minutes, or coming up 9 minutes into the first half. We lost the football. 9 minutes into the first half, no score. So Dragons, they've been on the back foot, Dragons, but done a good job of it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as far as intensity, South definitely are here to play. But you know, Dragons are holding their own. You know, so if they can keep that up and probably raise the bar a bit, they'll be more than competitive.
Templeton, big number 17. There's Ayakuso. I mean, for a big man, he picked that off his bootlaces, and it was well done. He took it out.
There you go. He's definitely got the skills there, mate.
He certainly has. Yeah. But the referee has taken the ball back. We'll pay. Just not quite in focus here, but we'll get there in focus. South's pushing the Dragons line here. Flare it out wide. 2-on-1 outside if they can get it out, but he's taken them on, and a knock on. Once again, I reckon the Dragon forwards and the Dragon defence has been solid, and there's a bit of a blue in the back of play here. So, but once again, he's paying the advantage. Men has the football, gets it to Big George Edwards, the man we've been talking about. Good enough in defence, the Dragons. Men, out he goes. Gets it out to the big man in Templeton. They're all big men. Oof. Templeton. Oh, men, just hangs on to it. Ayakuso. This time, no advantage. Dragons, they've held up beautifully. You must be wrapped.
I am. It's always good to see the boys stepping up in defence, especially on the goal line. And it's a good sign for the game. Like I said, if they can maintain that sort of intensity in defence, and you know, if they can use that in attack as well, you know, it's gonna.
Is that Damien Subert in number 6?
It does look like him. Oh, look, he'll hold his own there at 6. You know, I'm sure he's a tough customer.
A veteran. We normally see him in the 15.
We do. 15, 13, or on the wings. So.
But not at 6. And so the Eric Johnson medalist, 1997. What position did you play that year? Fullback. So. Pretty much majority of my career was at the back of number 15. So yeah. People used to say to me, and I watched you enough, that if Bernard Nicky's got the football, you don't get in his way because he'll run over you, and if you've got the football, you don't run near him because he'll knock you over. I don't want to bump you up too much, but the line out once again. Men gets it out. South Darwin in control. Ian Ayakuso. This time Templeton. Outside wide, and once again it was bound to happen, unfortunately, for the Dragons, and Darren Colton runs over for the first score and a try to South Darwin. And being the optimist, I suppose, Bernard, it had to happen. The line had to break.
It did, but you know, it's very heartening for the boys because it was basically just a one-on-one there.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you look at the replay,
And out wide, once you miss the tackle.
It does. It makes it very hard for the defence because everybody's on. You definitely got to make your one-on-one tackles. So
Jake Ranger in an attempt to convert, 5-0, kick to come, 13 minutes into the first half. Souths, they'll finish minor premier. Ranger. The last Dragon Senior Premiership, Bernard, probably 2008, was it? Played Palmerston, he held them to 0. 2008?
Yeah, it's a long time ago, mate.
So that's nearly 10 years.
Yeah, it is. That is a long time between drinks for the boys. You know, we've been in a rebuilding stage for some time, and you know, it's good to see some of the juniors there, like Sifu, and you know, you've got guys like Drew Tobin. You know, they're turning into the veterans of the team now. So
Elliot Lewis is another.
Elliot Lewis, yeah. His younger brother Ankin played A grade, I think, earlier this year. So.
Right. So one of the things is that the junior structure at Dragons, I think, has been second to none for the last 2 or 3 decades. But what it used to translate into senior premierships with Mayos and Nickies and a few others dominating, but it hasn't for a long, long time. But it's still got the junior structure in place. Why hasn't the junior structure realised senior premierships?
Yeah, look, that's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it? You know, there's a variety of reasons you can look at. You know, kids get to 16, 17, and they lose interest, you know, or play with other codes, you know, because they're influenced by their friends. You know, or they look at the work side of things and then go do traineeships. So it's a mixture of things. As a club, you'd like to see, you know, the juniors come through and play A grade. So.
But it just doesn't, and it's not just Dragons. I think everyone suffers as the consequence, and probably, and it's unfortunate, the parent body, the AFL, do certainly support AFL in the Northern Territory. The National Rugby League also support. They have gained some points up here. Unfortunately, rugby doesn't do that. The Australian Rugby Union doesn't do that, and so they haven't got role models to sort of get out to the schools. Definitely. Promote the game.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Like I said, there's a lot of in-betweens that, you know, that goes on with getting funding and doing all that. So, you know, it'd be nice, you know, if we can, you know, as a NTRU, as a group, to look after the juniors, you know, and get that to the level where the AFL and the NRL are at, you know, with the league and Aussie rules up here. So.
But they've got some work to do. So we've got the line out, and it's still in Dragons territory. It's in the wrong side of halfway from your perspective, Bernard, Nicky. But the line out to be fed. Jesse Norris, the fake jump. Vinnie Men, the fake jump. And up we go. And a Damien Sue, but it's over his head. We need to put him on the rack and stretch him, I reckon. There's a fullback playing at 6, jumping in the line out. Templeton, he's been strong. Templeton strong, running hard for South Darwin, gets the ball out, knocked on, I reckon. It was knocked back, Drew Tobin. Well done, cleverly done.
Yeah, he put himself in a position you could see, you know, the overlap unfolding. So, yeah.
A good head on his shoulders, Drew Tobin. Is this offside?
No, he was on the ground. He rolled the ball back illegally while he was on the ground. So, and that's basic rugby. You can't do that when you're defending or even when you're attacking. So.
Right. So how do you get it back? You got to.
Well, once you get tackled, your knees touch the ground. You've got to release the ball. So, and you can't touch it. You can't play the ball.
Okay, so it's got to be someone else.
It's got to be your teammates that's got to be there who are on their feet. So. Looks like a knock on there, mate. So it's a scrum to Dragons. Oh, forward pass. The Dragons got out of jail there with that one.
But here we are, where, as we can see on the clock, 17 minutes in, score 5-0.
Well, look, the boys are holding their own.
Yep.
You know, one mistake led to one try, so almost halfway through the first half. And, yeah, like you said earlier, they just at the wrong end of the field.
And they have been that way. South Darwin have been at the right end of the field for them, but Dragons have been defending, and as a coach, Peru Westrop, there's not much he can do about it at this stage, is it? Because he can't get his players and get them organised again.
Definitely. You know, when you come up against the better teams in the comp, you know, you've just there's a lot of work you can do, but you know, it's just the attitude as well of the players.
So the big blue there, and it'll be. The Dragons this time. We might get to the right half of the field for the Dragons into South Territory. We'll see how the kick goes. Gee, it's a good kick. It's a beauty. Was that your go? Playing at fullback for the Dragons is quite sure who that bloke is. We'll find out who that is. But that was a terrific. Were you who used to kick in your day for the club?
Kicking for touch, it was myself. I mean, general play, obviously, you know, Chris Shirley, Ronnie Mariko was another one.
Yeah.
So, and you know, even the goal kicking, he took over the goal kicking. So,
Big Ian Akuso. We like the way he plays. For a big man, he is agile, he's aggressive. South's out wide. Billy Byrne, the number 10. The mettle of the Dragons has been up to it. They've been tested in defence and they've been terrific. Chris O'Leary for Souths. Pushing inside the Dragons 22. Still pushing. Men gets it out to the running player on the wing. It's Jake Ranger. And does Ranger get over? There's what's the referee?
yeah, I think he's awarded the try there.
And that'll be Jake Ranger. So tries to Ranger, tries to Darren Colton. 10-0, kick to come. So in your day, who would kick it from out wide? Did you prefer out wide, or was that a Chris Shirley specialty?
Definitely. You know, it was funny with Ronnie. He had his radar working out wide, but you know, anything up close, it was sort of a bit off.
Careful, you're on television.
Yeah, mate, Ronnie, I'd always back you in anyway, mate. You know, you had my vote.
Ronnie Mariko. Bill Jones, see him wandering up. Darwin Dragons legend, the big man himself. Jake Ranger to add the extras to his try. Ranger scored out wide. So the centres, 12, the inside centre Darren Colton, the outside centre Jake Ranger, have done the damage on the scoreboard so far. Didn't even make the distance, didn't look like it, did it? So 10-0, halfway through the first half. South Darwin 10, Darwin Dragons yet to score. Bernard, would you here, we've got 2 footballs on the field, that's terrific. Choose which one you want. Would you here go long and at least get it deep into South's territory, or will you again try and finesse a short one?
Look, it's the second time and halfway. South have only scored 2 tries, so it's a testament to the boys. I think they'd go short. You know, test out the forwards and that. So,
yeah. So once again, you've got it. They have gone short. Bryn Templeton, he's been a power of strength. Number 17 for South Darwin. So they don't play rugby in the Tanami Desert. Poof.
Oh, no, mate, no. I don't think I'd be like to land on the red dirt there. So
out wide, away they go. Jake Ranger, the speedster, try scorer. Might be Billy Byrne. That was off the boot forward, but it came off a South player unless there's been a penalty awarded and the advantage. Because that came off a South Darwin boot, I reckon.
it did. I think Dragons might have taken it into touch.
Oh, okay. After it went off the boot,
Yep.
Big Jack Lawrence. No one's going to argue with Big Jack. He's got the ball and he's going to feed the line out. It's gone over the back. Dragons, the extra agility there. Now they've got to work hard. Mika Drew, Sifa Afu gets it out to Subit. Subit bashes his way, not quite at halfway yet. Afu once again. That ball's been ripped out. Well done to Vinnie Men. He's a terrier, but he's knocked it on. He ripped it out and knocked it on.
Yeah, no, he's done well there. It's a bit of bad luck. The ball went the wrong way. But that's better than the Dragons won the line out off South Darwin, so you know they're still competing, and they did well there just in those phases.
He's one of your boys, Afu, played his junior rugby with Dragons as under your tutelage, you and Peter Mayo, both Eric Johnston medalists.
Yeah, that was it was a good year back in the 90s, and that so definitely had a lot of leaders in our team. Made my job at fullback a lot easier.
Well done to the youngster. Got it and got it out beautifully. Drew. Flares wide. The left footer throws them, Bernard. Everyone's trying to smother the right foot. And Dragons are actually in the right part of the field, I think. Well, they've got the penalty.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that penalty is for there. Ian? Butters? Can I call you Butters?
You can call me what you like. We've known each other for long enough. Get it back into South territory. Once again, nice kick. Has it made touch? It has made touch. And they're at the right end of the field. Probably for the second or third time we've gone for 24 minutes, and with due respect, it has been South Darwin with a mountain of possession, but Dragons this time, let's see if they can get it and get it out wide, because they've got a couple of speedsters out wide.
They do. Look, and this is where the structure side comes into it now with what we were talking about earlier with Peru, so it'll be interesting to see where they go here.
10-0, Souths, 2 tries, no conversion. Afu, where's it going? I'll take it up the middle. Just the size differential is significant, I reckon. Dragons, I don't think they can bust through up the middle.
Yeah, so I look at if they can run the big boys around.
Drew Tobin, probably that's a patience issue. They had the football, they're on the South 22. The referee. Now, would you go for points here? Yes, definitely. Look, it'll calm the boys down. And they're playing well. They're playing above themselves. He's going to kick for touch. So within 20, they're on the 22.
This will be their best opportunity here if they can. They're going forward, which is a good sign that their structure is working. And they're only 7 metres out now, so. It's probably a good decision to kick to the line.
Yeah, but we'll see how we go with the line out, but I would have liked the 3 points.
Me, myself, I would have gone to the sideline, take the chances.
Oh, yeah. There we go. We've got Afu out into the middle. The big boy, Mika Drew, hits the brick wall in Ian Akuso. Dragons still have control on the 5-metre line. Was that? Oh no, Afu's out the back. The big man. Push. Mika Drew's been a stalwart, a power. Here we go. Be patient. Has he got it down? No, short. Dragons will have the benefit of the penalty. What's the indication here?
Not releasing the tackler, major tackle with young Willie there and didn't roll away, so he didn't release him.
So warranted. Referee's been good.
He's been good, calling the game really well, and it's been justified, the penalties he's been given so far.
So we've got the scrum. We've got the scrum on the line.
Definitely their best attacking opportunity here. It's what you want as a fullback, having a scrum. You've got one-on-one situation, and so hopefully the boys in the back line can conjure something up.
Afu feeds the scrum. Out they go. Set play. Big Jesse Norris. Afu, out he goes. Is it Tobin? I think it is. Can't push his way through. Work well done if they can score here, Bernard, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
He's over, I reckon. He's got it. Is that Tobin? It is Drew Tobin.
It is Drew Tobin.
So 10-5, kick to come.
They've done well there, boys.
We kick it backwards here or throw it over. Here's the replay. Strong work by Tobin. I reckon there was a second effort here. The first time he could see he wasn't going to get it, he went over the top. This is a well-structured try. Here he goes. Ran into a brick wall and went over the top. Clever.
Good stuff. Look, he's a smart player, Jovan, so he knows how to use his body close to the line, and he's strong for his size as well. So that definitely helped there with their second effort over to score the try.
So the conversion should really score this. 10-7, 28 minutes in. Defend, 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 and don't let them through. And they're probably their third foray, and they scored. Definitely,
look, and the signs are going to be good for the boys because they got down there, and the first time they got near 10 metres out from the line, and they got over for a try. So that's going to put them in good stead for the rest of the game, knowing they can get over the try line from that 10 metres out.
Joseph Gibbia there carrying the water, lovely to see. But Billy Byrne get us underway. 11:40 in the first half to go. Dragon knocked it back, well done. I've loved Arfu's game, it's the best game I've seen him play so far. Tobin, always good. The try scorer for the Dragons. Kicks for touch, and unfortunately...
I think it went out in the full there, Ian.
And according to the referee, it did. The size of Jesse Norris.
What happened there, Ian, they got the line out and they passed it back into the 22, so you can't kick out in the full from the 22.
Okay. So one of my favourite players, Big Jack Lawrence, to feed the line out. He's a jack of all trades, this bloke. He'll play hooker and he'll play the front row and blind side. And out to Men. Men, lovely pass. Byrne to Ayakuso. Inside centre, Colton, the try scorer, number 12.
Not releasing.
What do you want? Not releasing?
No, I think the Dragons' play was on the ground and not releasing the attacker. That was a penalty. Could have gone either way there if he would have kept his feet. The attacker not releasing the ball.
Ayakuso to take the kick. Made about 10 metres, but dangerous territory for the Dragons, particularly close to half time. 10 minutes to go. There'll be a bit of fatigue because they really defended the whole of most of the time. They've
done really well, the boys, the Dragons. So, they obviously know that you can't miss your one-on-one tackles at this end of the field. So.
Weaving his way through, Ayakuso, the man mountain, I reckon he'll get down here. He has. So I said at the start, Bernard, his size belies his agility and ability.
It does, it does. You're right there, mate.
Here's the replay. Just got the line out. Byrne out to Byrne. Byrne will go inside to Akuso, and Akuso just too strong. They actually tried the body rather than the tackle.
I guess from a backline, playing in the fullback, you want your centres and your 5'8" to, your first contact would be around the legs, especially with a big body like Akuso, yeah. So taking him high is definitely a dangerous situation, as you've seen there. He's 5 metres out and just too strong. So
he just takes you with him.
He does.
There he goes to convert his own try, Ayakuso. Jakey Range has had a couple of cracks at it. So 15-5, kick to come, Souths. 8.5 minutes till half time. Dead in front, kicking to the airport end at Rugby Park. Bit of pressure on him, but to no avail. We'll give him the try and we'll give him the conversion. And we'll give Souths 17-5. 3 tries to 1. Actually, the scoreboard's probably wrong because I reckon that we had the Dragons had the conversion, so I reckon it should be 17-7. Because Dragons have got a try and a conversion. So we've got the cameraman. He's got the cameraman. He's on the scoreboard. He's doing the sound effects and he's doing the replays. We've got the easy job, mate.
Absolutely.
So Dragons have got to hold them out. They're in the right part of the field. Men. Out to Templeton. Templeton back. This time to big Georgie Edwards. What do you do with him? I suppose you grab his legs, don't you, like everyone else if he hasn't
Well,
got
one of
legs,
his legs anyway.
Yeah, your arms won't fit around too. Ranger out wide again. The speedster's here. Back. Dragons. Kick for touch. That time, kicked it out in the full. He was inside. So you've got to know where you are, whether you can kick it out in the full.
That's it, yeah. If you're inside the 22 and you get the ball, you can kick it out on the full. But if you pass it back and you're in the 22, you kick it out and then it's a line out to the opposition on the 22.
Yeah, okay, yep. So that's the subtle difference. Byrne, Ayakuso, try scorer. Out wide, Ranger, a try scorer. Here he goes. He's got his player out wide, but he'll take him on. And lovely defence, Drew Tobin. You have been an absolute star.
He's definitely been the difference there, Drew. You know, he's working very hard on the team and definitely making the key plays.
Written all over it, didn't it?
It did. You know.
Here we have it here. Ayakuso out wide. He had Clancy Neesham out beside him too, but he tried to take him on, and that was Jake Ranger. He had the big number 11, Clancy Neesham, in, but.
It was good work by the Dragons winger there as well to stay out and wait for Drew to come across in the cover.
Yeah. The scrum to be fed. Get it back and kick it. Boof.
Definitely. Clear and kick outside, make as many yards as you can.
That went forward.
They got the scrum.
Dragons have got it. Norris. We've got the penalty. Here we go. Goes back. The kick. What's that? That's a funny indication. Haven't seen that one before.
I think that's a scrum. The hooker didn't, the prop didn't bind.
Okay. Gee, that's a good kick.
That's a great kick.
Oh, well done. That was Damien Sue. By gee, we had him on the rack there. Mika Drew, been a power, a tower. Oh, goodness gracious. I think his nose was bleeding from how high he got up, Sue, at that time. Ball taken to ground, Clancy Neesham. South's on the charge, out wide, Ranger. Missed the opportunity, gets it back to his inside centre. It's Darren Colton, the try scorer. Colton has the football. Rangy player. Swinging him around like a rag doll, Billy Byrne, Ayakuso. Byrne again. He's almost playing the halfback role, Byrne. Vinnie Men. It's wearing the number 9. Edwards. Edwards gets it out beautifully. But don't argue. That's Chris O'Leary. Out to Byrne. That was close to forward. But the referee's got it, hasn't made a blue. Adam Spink it was. Kicked off. Where are the speeches? No speeches for the Dragons. Back we go. Carlos Day on the field, number 20 for South Darwin. Jake Ranger, he just sets fire to the grass, doesn't he? He's quick. And they've got him. I think they see the size of the bloke and they still go for the body. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big you are. If you go for the legs and take the legs out, you can't run.
And that's very true, you know, when you get taught that as
You used to
juniors.
preach that,
So,
always.
yeah, definitely.
But it's a truism, isn't it?
It is. Well, you know, as a coach, you want that from your players. So,
And so then, what you do need to do then is to teach tackle technique. Now, look, like that, tackle technique.
that was perfect tackle. Got in under his ribs and very, very direct front on tackle and forced the ball loose. So
To a much bigger bloke, and so we were just almost got out tackle technique.
that was
We saw
exactly
the
what we
perfect.
wanted.
You can see Damien Subit, he's not a well man.
Oh, he's a tough customer, Damien. You know, he doesn't like to let his teammates down. So
I don't think he ever has.
no, he's. I watched him play junior, so you know his toughness definitely caught up, and he's always had that. And you know, definitely one teammate you'd always love to have by your side when you're going into games.
And I believe there's another generation of Subits coming through the under sixes and under sevens.
There is. Yeah, they're a little bit faster than the old man too, so that's a good thing.
Well, at this stage of his career, he is a veteran. Afu feeds the scrum. South turned the scrum. Dragons, as they pick themselves up, we've got a minute and a half. I've just been so impressed with the Dragons' defence, technically, and the grit.
Well, look, they're stepping up. You know, this is definitely a dress rehearsal for next week, and it'll put them in good stead. Win, lose or draw, they'll take a lot out of this first half, especially. So,
Without getting too far ahead of ourselves, you mentioned next week. Next week they'll play either Casuarina or University Pirates. Because you would expect, irrespective of this result, and it's 17-7 at the moment with a minute to go to half time, South will finish minor premiers.
yep. Look, one of the things Peru, Westrock will talk about at half time is our one-on-one tackles, and that is the Dragons. Sorry, one-on-one tackles, and that's led to the 3 tries that South have scored.
And as you've indicated, Bernard, that one-on-one tackles. Now there was a pretty good tackle for the legs from a much smaller man, Elliot Lewis, on the biggest man on the park. So
Absolutely.
and it was a one-on-one tackle. And didn't try. If he'd have taken the body, then of big George Edwards would have been still over the fence across
Absolutely.
the road, athletics track.
I think young Elliot, he timed it right. I think he did aim for the ball as well. So
Well, that's all right if you can get away with it. We need to find out who the fullback for Darwin Dragons is at half time. That's your job, if you wouldn't mind, Bernard, because
no worries, mate. I can do that.
it's not Damien Subit. And there's the siren for half time. Vinnie Men to feed the scrum. Oh, actually, never seen that happen before. South will want to knock it over. Out wide, Ranger, the speedster, has a try. Running around himself, backwards and forwards. But the defence of Dragons, let's hope they don't let the supporters down, because the supporters are vocal, they're great supporters, and they'll appreciate the defence of the Dragons till half time. The big men. Mika Drew. Akuso, surely that went forward. He just couldn't get out.
He's got Dragons for offside there, Butters.
they did the
So
hard work.
they did. And look, it's a credit to the boys. I mean, you can give away 3 points rather than 5 at this stage of the game. So
Yep. Will they take the 3? That looks
I
like
think they already
Akuso.
have.
Yeah.
I think they've already pointed to the post.
So it is half time. The bell's gone. So what would the South Darwin coach concentrate on at the huddle at half time, do you reckon?
I think he'll talk about just ball retention. They were a bit sporadic sort of in attack, definitely because of their pressure and defence the Dragons were putting on them. So holding on to the ball, and they showed they could score tries. So just doing the basics once again. At this point of the season.
And Peru Westrop's message to as Ayakuso puts it over the black dot. So half-time, it'll be 27 to Darwin Dragons. And Peru Westrup, what do you reckon his message will be?
Oh, look, I think he'd be pretty happy with the boys, the way they're travelling. In defence, 3 missed tackles, 3 tries. So, and that's pretty good, against the minor premiers. Probably step up the intensity in attack. Get that free flowing, bring the ball back to for the halfback and get the forwards hitting the line instead of standing flat-footed and then taking it forward. So they've got momentum and they're going through the line. So
words of wisdom from Bernard Nicky at halftime. At halftime, South 17. No, South will be 20 and Dragons 7. And Bernard, if you can get downstairs, you're younger than I am, and find out who number 23 and number 15 is for Darwin Dragons.
Rightio, mate.
In the second half.
Yep.
Thanks.
On behalf of South Darwin Rugby Union, we'd like to thank all our sponsors for their continued support of our club.
Shots on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go!
Second half about to get underway. Bernard Nicky joining me, Ian Butterworth in commentary. It's the final minor round game for the NTRU for season 2017. Finals get underway next week. Half time, South Darwin, they'll finish minor premiers on top of the ladder, 20, leading Darwin Dragons 7. Dragons a try and a conversion. South Darwin 3 tries, 2 conversions for their 20 points. Yeah, we'll just upgrade the score on our screen here. It is South's 20, Dragons 7 at half time. Darwin Dragons former champ. He's not a former Eric Johnson medalist. He will always be an Eric Johnson medalist. He is a premiership player. Bernard Buffnicki, number 15 for Dragons. Number 15 will kick the ball. He's wearing your jumper, Bernard. Greg Smith, and he's been terrific at fullback in number 15.
He has been one of the mainstays, very reliable, safe with his kicking as well. So it's always a plus when you're a fullback. So definitely there for those reasons.
And the Dragons hooker, we've been wondering who that was, and I hadn't seen him for a while. Jason Stanek.
Joseph.
Dragon Junior.
Joseph, I'm
sorry.
Yes, he was.
Joseph Stanek. You're quite right. Deliberate error. Thanks for the correction.
Young Joey, yeah, he comes to the juniors with us, and it was always, very good at hooker and prop. So yeah, it's good to have him back in the Dragons.
George Edwards starts Souths off. Did you hear anything of Peru Westrop?
No, I didn't, unfortunately, Butters.
The kick, down back, we've got him, Greg Smith. What'll he do? Try and run it. Once again, Dragons, they spent probably 80% of the time in their own half. Drew Tobin, what a player. Doesn't matter where he plays, does it? And he's just offloaded. Dragons are away, a couple of speedsters, that's what they need. Get it out wide. Tobin once again. We'll have the ball back, and I reckon it'll be the Dragon.
A little knock on there by Dragons.
The Dragon knock on. Just when they made some...
they did. And we talked about Greg Smith earlier. Just there, his positional play was spot on, and taking the ball forward, he managed to... Dragons got a good roll on and made 10, 15 metres. So just a little knock on there, halted their play. So good signs for the boys.
Micah Drew with the haircut. Same haircut that you've got, Bernard. He's done well too for a
it cost a lot of money to get those styles of haircut, brothers.
So it's not a natural thing. It's just you pay for what you get.
Absolutely. A lot of colouring goes into it. And,
Jesse Norris, another Dragons junior or former junior, out to Sifa Afu out to Elliot Lewis. And here's our man Joseph Stanek.
He's done a mountain of work carting the ball forward, young Joey.
Dragons hit the right half of the field. Big E and Ayakuso. Which way is this going? Dragons. What's the
the penalty there. The tackler not rolling away.
Greg Smith normally has kicked impeccably in this game. I don't reckon Damien Subit will be kicking for touch for a while with this man.
Yep.
Out there.
That's a good kick. That is a good kick. 5 metres out. That's what you want.
Every time.
Yeah, no, he's doing really well. I'm really impressed with the way Greg is going about his game. He's definitely being one of the leaders that stepped up so far.
And he actually took on big George Edwards a bit earlier and forced the knock on, so his defence is pretty good. So let's see how we go. Joseph Stanek. To feed the line out. They go short. They did go short. Off to Norris. Norris out to Afu. Afu out wide. This time to Elliot Lewis. Lewis has gone to ground. A couple of metres out. Where's Tobin when you need him? He's the try scorer. Out wide. Don't need him. Don't need him. Dragons in again.
And that's young Callum McDonald.
Callum McDonald.
That's good vision there. They went the blind side and good cut-out pass there to Callum on the wings. So Dragons definitely got their tails here. Good start to the second half.
Here we go. Afu. Out wide. Lewis. Out to He set fire to the grass. There's no way going to stop him. And this should be a gimme for Greg Smith, you would think. A 2012, kick to come.
It's a very good start to the second half. The boys have definitely stepped up, picked up where they left off in the first half.
Interesting placement of the ball on the tee. Most of them have it on
On an angle?
Yeah. More of an angle.
Oh, every kicker's got their style, Butters, so if it works for them, it works for them.
You on an angle?
Definitely. Got used to it, and I started off like that.
And so he'll kick it down low on the point?
Definitely, yeah. There's a sweet spot down there, so he's hooked it.
He has missed it. Oh, he's missed it to the left. 3.5 minutes into the second half, Dragons have made inroads. South's leading 20-12.
It all starts here, Butters, with the restart. So if they can get the ball back secured and go whatever options from there. So I'm pretty sure South will go short. They've been startled a bit these first 4 minutes into the second half.
Ayakuso can do anything, but one of the problems going short, if you don't make the 10, no, he's handed the ball off. Looks like it might be Billy Byrne. That's certainly cleared the 10.
Definitely.
Oh, gosh. The big mistake there. Dragons under pressure again. South Darwin player down. No, he's up and well. That's good. That was Adam Spink. Directly in front. Byrne feeds it out wide. Goes to O'Leary. O'Leary, that was forward, surely. There's your man Callum McDonald, I think that is.
No, it's young Mateo. I'll have to correct that for you, Butters.
So we've got the kick-off once again, and the muck-up by Dragons here, I reckon. They've lifted, there's that big Jesse, it was, and it went over his head, probably went backwards. But we've got the scrum.
Good defence there, Dragons forced to knock on from South there, so...
So the word again and again and again has been defence. Their defence has been pretty good.
It has been. They've really stepped up there, and if they can keep this up.
For a team that essentially plays on speculation, their defence has been very good. Here's the speed. Here's the speed out wide. He's got a couple, and that's what you would expect. Drew Tobin. He's inspirational as the captain.
He definitely is. You can see, he's going to do something in attack and also, make his presence felt in defence.
Yep. And here he goes again. The quick tap, and Tobin will do it all. But, a brilliant tackle there, and that was Evan Needham around the legs. Wide. Chip kick, Billy Byrne doesn't make a mistake.
They've got the penalty there for inside the 10, Butters. So a bit of luck there. They took the gamble.
Fortune favours the bold.
It does. It does.
Like.
I will.
Don't know where I got that from. Now we're going for the... this is interesting, and it'll be Damien Subit. So he's looking for the tee. So they've given Greg Smith the flick. He will kick for touch. that Subit will kick.
That's interesting. But in saying that, Damien's always been a reliable kicker through the years for Dragons. So, and given the
I'm
position,
not critical, but it's just we had Smith and
we did, yes.
He mucked up and he's got the flick.
Yeah.
Now we'll see the angle, his angle. Well, it's a 45 degree, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Or were you flatter?
Oh, a little bit flatter. I definitely like to kick the point of the ball. So for me, I've got a little bit more direction. A lot straighter. But like I said, everybody's got their style and technique. So what works for them, works for them. So
Damien Subit from about.
I'd back him from here.
Distance should not be a problem. Oh, he's missed to the left-hand side too. So
I've put the mocker on him, brothers.
so you'll get the flick. We've got the interchange. Coming on is big Sweeney Falakakala, number 4. We can see him there. Oh, Peter Pawley it is. We've just got the message, Peter Pawley. When you get these team sheets, Bernard, you don't always believe it. Tobin. Beat
That's
one,
another good
beat
run.
two,
That's
beat
another
three.
good run.
Someone, and there's someone there. Beautiful. Oh, that's Elliot Lewis. Maybe the ball's slippery, but that should have been a gimme. Evan Needham, the kick for touch. Will he make touch? He will make touch. And Big Joseph to feed the line out. Where is it?
It was a bit unfortunate there.
comes.
Dragons had a bit of a roll on, so
I've been impressed. South leading 2012, 10 minutes into the second half. 3 tries to 2. Try scorers for Souths: Darren Colton, Jake Ranger, Ian Ayakuso. Try scorers for the Dragons: Callum McDonald and Drew Tobin.
Cardinals sitting there, brothers. Ball passed back outside the 22, and young Elliott kicked it out in the full, which resulted in the line out to the opposition at the 22. So
That's what we've been talking about.
yeah, as I explained to you earlier, you've got to be inside the 22 to kick it out in the full. Passed it from outside the 22 back in, and you kick it out in the full, it's a line out back at the 22.
Yeah.
So
But it's a fundamental, Wolf, he really should know.
it is, as a back especially. So
Jack Lawrence feeds the scrum. Byrne gets, no, that's Byrne there. I think it was the halfback. That was Vinnie Men. He got Tobin,
again,
man of the match so far, without any shadow of a doubt. Souths have had some good players. I thought Byrne's been good for Souths. Men's been good for Souths. And Ian Ayakuso. But Drew Tobin's been fantastic for Dragons. Vinnie Men, number 7. Adam Spink. Adam Spink, number 7. Vinnie Men, number 9. There's Men now. One of the co-captains. Sold the dummy one way, then the other. The Frenchman, he's a Frenchman. He rocked into the club last year sometime. Played in a premiership, thank you very much.
nice, nice.
About 3 or 4 games, then qualified and played in the premiership this year. he's the captain. And Ian Ayakuso standing the tackle. But once again, as we've been saying from the outset, and that was Greg Smith, grabbed him around the legs, got nowhere to go. All dressed up and nowhere to go, and you can use that as well.
Okay. Did you write all these down?
Education for you. It's an education. They're in the book.
I'm going to have to borrow your book, mate. The Dragons offside here. South have got a penalty.
So I'll go Ayakuso, too far out. Surely. Man. Made about 20 metres. Probably should have done better than that, I reckon. However, they'll back themselves. With the
They
line.
will. They will. You know, they've practiced these lineouts 15, 20 metres out at training, day in and day out. So you know, when you're the top team, you know, your line-outs work. So it'd be interesting to see what they do here, whether they keep it in the forwards or you know, show it to the backs and give them a go.
The line out and the serious scrum, two of the attributes that set rugby apart from everything else, I reckon.
The set piece, you know, you've got to get that right. You know, as a team,
and they didn't there.
They didn't. They lost it. So.
Tobin. Now he had the ball. He was inside the 20, kicked out of the full, and precisely. You should be a referee, Bernard.
Yeah. There's a quick line out there, so the line out wasn't set. So.
Had the quick line out. Was fed by Carlos Day. But the defensive Dragons, I've just been so impressed.
They've done really well.
It's not a trait that we usually associate with the Dragons. That's when slightly forward. They might get over the line here. The winger out wide, and that is Clancy Neesham.
There's a knock on there, Butters. So good pressure there from the Dragons' defence. They scrambled really well. So
now look, 2012. 26 minutes to go. Are you with your money, your house and your land and the whole lot on the Dragons, or you?
Look, I've been happy with where they're at, you know, throughout the game up until now. So at the start, I would have backed now. 26 minutes to go, you know, and this is where, as a former player, I know the boys will lift. You know, they know they can bend the line. They know they can go through. Their set pieces are good, so you know, they'll have their tails up at this point in the game.
And one thing Dragons have never ever worried about is who they're playing. They'll just play. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter whether it's this week or next week. It doesn't matter who they are. They'll just play their own way. Love the scrum. Nick Drew at the back. Fed by Sifa Afu. It's Drew. And for those that don't know Bernard Nicky, look at his head, as I mentioned before, and look at the head. And the haircut. Not the head, the haircut. Bernard Nicky and Mika Drew, same. But it costs plenty, doesn't it?
It does.
Costs plenty.
It does.
Greg Smith. So it will be Subert to kick for the penalty for score, and Greg Smith will kick for touch. And as has been his wont, this will go 30 metres. It went every bit of 30 metres. That was a good kick again.
Given the angle of where the penalty was, yeah, you
he didn't have any angle to work with.
He didn't. So to get that, you know, 12 metres short of halfway, I'm sure the forwards, the whole team will be happy with that result.
Now, has your twin brother got the same haircut as you?
No, he's got hair. I told him, you know, you can't use my barber, mate.
So that separates the twins.
It does.
Oh, that probably went back. Evan Needham saved by the football there. Makes some metres, makes 10 metres. Let go. Well done by Evan Needham there, the fullback. The helmeted one. Jesse Norris, big number 8. Every bit of 2 metres tall, I reckon. Going to be a big boy when he grows up.
Definitely, got a lot of growing to go.
Oh, goodness. What's the go there, Bernard?
The penalty there was Dragons took it into the maul, and if they're held up, they've got to use it or lose it, basically. So they've got to bring the ball back to the back of the maul, so to give them an attacking options. But unfortunately, Jesse got held up and the maul stopped, so the referee pulls it up and it's a scrum to the opposition.
And a warranted penalty to South Darwin. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, so good defence here from South.
Scrum to be fed by Vinnie Men, the co-captain. Co-captain with, I'll find it, with David Boyle. David Boyle, I think, is a Eric Johnston medalist as well. So I'm surrounded by royalty here. With David Boyle out in the ground, I've got you sitting on my right-hand side. They're having a bit of a smile out there. Oh, is the referee a comedian, or is that a grimace of pain?
I think it's a bit of both, mate.
So we've got 22 minutes to go. South 20, Dragons 12. Men to feed the scrum. Did it nicely, out the back. That was O'Leary. Gets it to a try scorer, Colden. I reckon he might have knocked on somewhere along the line there. And the referee agrees with me. There you go.
Nice work there, Butters.
AFL, I'm up with it.
It's good defence there by the Dragons as well. You know, they're not missing their one-on-one tackles.
Here's the replay here. It was a good set piece by Souths. Dragons, you're quite right. They didn't miss the one-on-one tackles and forced the knock-on.
And Elliot Lewis there again. You know, he's definitely stepping above his weight in defence.
22 minutes to go. Dragons 12. South Darwin will finish minor premiers in the competition. Lost one game. Palmerston beat them, which was a surprise. But Palmerston with their big forwards.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Of course, you were in the desert, weren't you?
I was working, so.
So the break in play. Some treatment on a South Darwin player. Stop the clock. We've stopped the clock. Everyone stopped the clock. 21 and a half minutes in the second half. Should be a good final series. South Darwin, second place Casuarina or University Pirates. It'll be on points differential. And Dragons will finish fourth in the competition.
This would be at this point of the game here. I'd say it'd be good for both Dragons and Souths. Souths, even though they lost one game, it'll be a wake-up call when they get to training this week. After the game, you know, the coach will be saying, look, what happened during the season is done and dusted, and you know, we've got 80 minutes in front of us to get to the grand final. Start all over again, that's right.
The coach of South Darwin, I call him James to Dassel, but they say Jimmy. Who's Jimmy? James to Dassel. So good luck to him. He's been a stalwart for Northern Territory Rugby and South Darwin. He's a terrific fella.
Well, he's definitely got the boys in the done well this year with South, so it's a credit to him.
And the reigning premier, of course. They won the premiership last year.
Yes, yeah. So they're in a position now to go for back-to-back.
Yeah.
So
and that's tough.
It is. It's always hard.
Have you been back-to-back premierships?
I have. I've been very fortunate. I've been back-to-back twice.
Okay, with Dragons, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think your mum would have allowed you to play with anyone else, would she?
I had no choice.
And she's still here, of course, every
She
game.
is.
Drew Tobin, Elliot Lewis, a couple of former Dragon juniors inside. They've got the Dragons have held up really well as support. Tobin playing the halfback role. Gets it out, Subit. Tobin's everywhere, isn't he?
He is.
Is it instinct, or does he just read the play beautifully?
Oh, I think it's a bit of. It is. You know, he's a class act. You know, he's represented the Mozzies at a high level, both in 15s and 7-a-side. Sure. And as you know yourself, you know the rep seen you come back a better player. So definitely make a difference when you're playing at club level.
That really didn't work. Evan Needham kicks and shows them how it's done. Well done, David Subity, almost. So kick for kick, under 20 minutes.
That was Cardinals in there, not kicking out in the full from the penalty. They would have given Dragons a very good opportunity. That's right.
Jack Lawrence. Oh, taken beautifully. Joseph Stanek. I've been so impressed with him. The big man in number 23 for the Dragons in the black and gold. Billy Byrne, been a star for South Darwin, number 10. The fly half. Evan Needham, full back with the helmet. Poof, I've just been so impressed with the defence of Dragons.
And look, that's you know, a testament to the boys. You know, they know they're playing the minor premiers, and you always lift. You always lift when you're playing against.
Joseph Stanek's not happy about something, and the referee's called the captains out. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. We can't hear what they're saying. Anna, get down there and find out what's going on for us. Still the Dragons.
You can't fault Dragons for their defence. Their intensity has been like this from the start. So you know, Coach Peru Westroff would be very happy.
And they spent the first probably 30 minutes on their back foot, didn't they?
They did. So
inside their own half.
I think with 18 to go, if they can get over the line, it's going to make it very, very interesting.
The player there, Billy Byrne, number 10 for South Darwin, in a spot of bother, but he's up and he's about, and he's a tough snag. We'll keep going. Greg Smith with the kicking duties. That's what you want to see.
That's what should have happened 5 minutes ago.
Should have been down there. It's at the 22 now, but had the chance further. And Joseph Stanek to feed the line out for Dragons. Jesse Norris, you would expect, the big number 8. Playing ducks and drakes here, and we picked it before they threw it in. That was a little knock on. Bad luck. It was just a poor pass there to the halfback.
It was, you know, young Jesse should have got 2 hands to that ball.
Bit of frustration from the Dragons, and they just got to keep a bit of a lid on it, and particularly with the youngster, Sifa Afu. He gets a bit excited. He's an excitable young boy.
He is. You can't blame the guy. You know, he's a young talent coming through seniors.
Look, yeah.
And he's held his own up until now. Butters, you know, I can't fault him.
No. He is a future leader of this team.
Definitely. You know, a star in the making.
Got a touch of class. Now, what do we got? We've got the scrum. So aggression and class, that's what you want.
Definitely. You know, he's got a calm head on his shoulders too, Butters. And for a young guy at that age, you know, playing your first season in A grade at halfback, speaks volumes about, you know, how far this young fella can go.
So we've got the scrum. Vinnie Men, one of the co-captains, number 9, the halfback, to feed the scrum for South Darwin. Reaches in, flicks it out to Needham. Needham will go the kick. A bit ungainly. It's made some metres. Back, Greg Smith. One way, then to the left. Now we'll go to the ground and feed it off. This is going to be a turnover here. I can see that. There was. South just seemed to have the ascendancy. 16.5, South's 20, Dragons 12. 3 tries to 2. Try scorers for South, Jake Ranger, Darren Colton and Ian Ayakuso. And the try scorers, the 2 try scorers for Darwin Dragons, Drew Tobin and Callum McDonald, the flying winger. McDonald, the only try scorer in this
that is a very nice.
At half time, it was 20-7, so South haven't scored in the second half what's that, 24 minutes of rugby.
Butters, you've missed a very good clearing kick from fullback Greg Smith. Went from inside the 22 just over the halfway, so got Dragons out of trouble there again.
His kicking's been immaculate, hasn't it?
He definitely knows where to kick and where to position the ball. So
the South's line out, Norris. Gee, he's going to have the option there. That was just the odd metre offline.
Or metre and a bit. We are.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Dragons have got a scrum at halfway, so this is a good attacking opportunity.
So 2012, that's a converted try and a little bit in 15 minutes.
Yes, and a little bit, but you know, Dragons' defence has been really good all night. If they can just up the ante with their attack to where their defence is, anything can happen, mate.
And I've been, the Dragons' scrum work's been okay too. They haven't been pushed off the ball.
They've definitely held their own. And as a backline player, you want that. You want your forwards to
Norris
hold.
and Drew have been terrific. Subit, taken, feeds it out to Drew. Drew will take him on up the middle, as he always does, old Mika. But that's one of South's strengths at the maul. But this time, the penalty. They've attracted the penalty. Now, probably too far out, because they need a converted try and a little bit. So do they go for the little bit?
I think they'll probably go for the line. They'll go for the try here. Greg Smith stepped up, so I'm pretty sure he'll go to the line.
So if he can get it within 5, if they can win the line out.
He's done well all night so far.
He's been terrific, hasn't he?
And that's pretty good.
So
that's
that's
pretty
within
good.
20.
So, yeah, it's definitely if they can get over the line here, it's going to make an interesting 13 minutes to go.
Stanick, feed the line out. And once again, you would tip that it'll be Jesse Norris, the big number 8. He's the tall one.
Got my name, brothers, on a piece of paper. I don't know.
Here's the line out. Drew couldn't quite take it, but it went back. Souths have got it. Just didn't quite work for them. Because they really only got one, I think, serious option. Is that a fair comment with Jesse Norris in the line out?
Yeah.
Gee, that's clever, Greg Smith. I thought it was silly, but it turned out it's okay.
He took a gamble and it paid off for him. So
South Darwin.
there's a knock on there. Butters by the halfback. They had a roll on, which is disappointing for the Dragons.
Bernard Nicky providing the expert commentary. Ian Butterworth with you in central commentary. And the minor season boof is about 11 and a half minutes to go. And we've got finals next week. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun?
It does, mate. Enjoyed your company tonight, Ian, as I always have throughout the years.
We've been through it. Joseph Stanick, he's been a tower, hasn't he?
He's definitely provided, the muscle up front for the boys tonight. With the go forward and his intensity in defence. So it'd be a shame if Peru would have to replace him at this point of the game.
Well, it's crucial.
It is.
And he is crucial because although he was getting the physical jerks on his foot, he didn't scream with agony. We didn't hear him from here.
Yeah.
It's probably half okay.
He's a tough customer, Joey, so, get a drink of water in him, magic water.
It's fixed you up a few times.
Oh, definitely. I'm not going to...
You can't deny
no,
that.
I can't deny.
So we've got the scrum, South Darwin.
Definitely works when you need a drink of water.
Yeah. with 11 minutes to go in the game.
Yes. And look, Joey Stanick, I think he needs it anyway. He's done a heap of mountain of work tonight, so...
Vinnie Men. The scrum collapsed. Looks like South collapsed. I reckon that's the hardest to adjudicate for a referee, with the collapse of the scrum, whether it's, you know, what the reason for it is, who spins the scrum.
He's basically got an eagle eye view where he's at. So you know, there's a technique to it, and you know, the props they've got to bind properly. They can't lift their heads once they bind, that sort of thing. So he's right there. He'll be able to make a clear-cut call.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there shouldn't be any excuse. Not that I would make excuse for referees or umpires, as you know. Oh! Now this might be the chance.
I just from being a former player with the boys in this position, I dare say they'd have their tails up, the Dragons. Look for something special from Elliot and Drew with Greg Smith. Those three to combine to get over the line, I reckon.
Big fella number 3, who's been good. James Crook in the forwards for Dragons.
Oh, the forwards have been, tremendous tonight.
Held their own.
They have, absolutely.
Afu feeds the scrum.
And again, a very good scrum.
Oh, he just didn't go. I think he wanted to, and for some reason, that's okay, as long as they got control. Jesse Norris loved his game. Surely he's offside. No. That's the man who's played really well, Bryn Templeton, in the first half.
We've got a knock on there by South. Another opportunity for the
and once again, it's a converted try and some, but we're not going to go for the some, we're going to go for the...
Absolutely.
Worry about that first. Dragons and South. It's been an entertaining game, an even game. At half-time, the score was 27 in favour of South, so Dragons have been the only team to score in the second half, and that was a try, of course, to the flying Callum McDonald.
Yes, very good work down the blind side there by Elliot Lewis. He saw it and managed to hit the wing unmarked on the wing.
Yep. There's Jesse out the back of the scrum. That was a set piece. He's been strong.
He's been huge tonight, so... Well, they're definitely getting their opportunities tonight, Dragons.
What they're doing is playing disciplined rugby, and I think Dragons are the team displaying that. Usually, with due respect to Dragons, they're the team that usually crack under pressure.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, there've been times. Yes,
just the odd occasion.
Absolutely. Well, you've got your wish here, Butters. They've gone for the 3 points.
The sum.
The sum. Yes, the sum.
Converted try and sum. And in replay, we see Norris started that, and that was Elliot Lewis, of course, attracting all the penalty back. And he's the man with the vertical kicking football.
Technique.
Okay.
You're definitely backing from here,
well,
Butters.
you would like to think no breeze.
No breeze, directly in front.
Rugby Park. In great condition, isn't it?
It's always lovely this time of the year to play rugby. Under lights, dry season.
Smith, hushed. There's a kind of hush. He's missed to the far side.
He's missed to the far side again.
That seems to be the trait. He kicks around the corner a little bit.
It's hard when you're kicking it vertical, Butters, because you haven't got a sweet spot on the ball. It's a bigger area to strike the ball from underneath, whereas you've got it on the angle, you can focus on the tip of the ball. So
you can't kick through the ball, you tend to kick under the ball.
You do, and if you don't get hit in that sweet spot, it's going to make it hard.
Here's our man Tobin, gets the ball out to Afu. Afu shrugs one tackle one way. Within 5 metres of the South line. Tobin again. Can they get over? The push, the maul, the turnover, the knock on. South's penalty. That was their chance, I reckon.
That was their chance. 6 minutes to go. They've made it hard for themselves. And but like I said to you early on, Butters, it started from Elliot Lewis and Jude Tobin, the two guys. I think that if Dragons' fortunes are going to
Here's the replay here. Yep, you're right. They're the two.
Well, in saying that, Butters, Dragons in the second half have been the better team.
Well, they've scored.
That's
20,
right.
27 half time.
Their defence has been great. You can't fault them in defence.
Men to feed the scrum for South Darwin. 5 minutes to go. James to Dassel, the left footer.
So,
Dragons have it. Here's the man. Gets it out. Inside centre. Outside centre. Drew, Mika Drew. It'd be fitting out wide. I think he's knocked it on. I think the little knock on.
Dragons have got the penalty here.
We can't go for the sum. You've got to go for the converted try.
You do. Just under 5 minutes to go, so they've got to go for the 7 points here, mate. And look to Drew and look to Elliot Lewis. They're the go-to men for Dragons.
There's Tobin. Why isn't Big Joseph in there? Is he over?
He is. That's Schubert.
Damien Subert, the veteran. So, 27 to come. Here's the replay. This is fantastic, Subert. Look at him. Just a bit of strength there from the veteran.
Definitely position was really good.
It's a technique, and he actually spun in the tackle.
He did. So I think he definitely read the situation a little bit better than the tackle.
So they missed the one-on-one. 3 tries apiece. Just the extra conversion. We would think Greg Smith will slot this from
Point blank range.
point blank, directly in front, and he's got it. 1 point game. So we've got a Rabbitoh here on the camera. We've got a Dragon in special comments. Now, we said 10-15 minutes ago, a converted try and some.
We've got the converted try. Now we've just got to get the end sum. Come on, Dragons.
20-19. It's been a great game of rugby.
Oh, it has been. It has been. They've stepped up. Credit to Dragons. Their defence all game has been, first class. Just unfortunate missed tackles led to tries.
To Dassel, the spear kick. Here's Subert weaving his way through. Damien Subert, has he got the speed and the guile? Dragged down, but he's at the right half of the field. South Darwin in their half. Subert. He's going to enjoy the celebratory drink tonight. Win, lose or draw.
Well, he's definitely going to talk about that 30-metre run. I guarantee you that.
South have the penalty. 2 minutes to go. Just check this out. A bit of aggro, a bit of angst. Evan Nee. But don't argue. Don't argue. The referee's been in great control.
He has. Oh, look, I can't fault the ref tonight. He's definitely, called it the way he's seen it. And
it's been pretty right.
He has. He's been right on it tonight. Well, it was a very, very lucky bounce there.
Well, it was. It was set up for the Dragons, but the penalty, and they'll have the line out. I don't see Big Ayakuso on the field. He's the one that is Jack Lawrence. He'll feed the line out for South Darwin. He's a character. Jack Lawrence.
He is.
He loves the game of rugby.
I've known him and Billy, for a number of years. So,
Yeah.
a gentleman on and off the field.
Yeah. Men will take the ball out. I reckon it might be a Dragons feed, is it?
Yes, there'll be Dragons line out. This is the opportunity. Butters?
The short one? No.
No, the line out set. They've got to actually contest the line out.
So the big man, the man we're looking for, Jesse Norris, number 8.
This has got to be a good line out here.
Not sure who's going to lift him. There's the siren. So this is the last play. Norris has knocked it back. Souths have possession. The kick. The kick for touch. Kick
He's
for
got a drop
score.
goal.
Drop goal. Full
Sweet.
time. 2019. A fitting end. He knocked it over.
He knocked it over with that field goal there at the end there, Butters. 23-19.
23-19. So well done to him. That was a bit smart. And Dragons, they'll play finals next week. South Darwin will play finals next week. A good hit out, as you suggested a little bit earlier, Bernard, for both teams.
It will be, yeah. It's going to be very good for Dragons playing the minor premiers tonight, and they will take a lot of confidence, from tonight. Their defence was first class. Their attack was a little bit lazy at times, and definitely cost them, opportunities to get a try at the end. So a couple of penalties there, definitely missed penalties, would have made the scoreline in Dragons' favour. But Souths have got a bit of work to do. I think their attack stalled a bit, and that's credit to Dragons' defence. So, but their defence as well. Just when the pressure was on, they I guess they were probably thinking about next week. You never know. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. But
Look, it will be, and I must say, 23-19. Earlier today, it was University Pirates 85 defeated Swamp Dogs 0. A much closer game here. 23-19. The minor season, done and dusted. Finals next week. Bernard, Nicky, thanks very much. Wonderful.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That's it from Rugby Park.